Well, it's that time of year again. To some, it's the most wonderful time of the year. To others, maybe not so much. Some believers, they go all out for Christmas. Others want to argue that Christmas is a pagan holiday. Putting up a Christmas tree is condemned as heathenism, and Jesus wasn't really born on December the 25th. Lots of fun, right? Well, you see I'm not in my study here tonight. I'm at home with Jeanette's here. She's over hiding behind the camera. And my favorite dog over here, Indy. And we're planning on doing some short videos here in the next few evenings dealing with the questions of Christmas. So come along and drop your questions down below. Now, I think most Christians are aware that there are many traditions in Christmas that have developed over the years that aren't really in the Bible at all, although that doesn't mean that they're wrong or go against anything in the Bible. Decorating one's house for winter, though, I think goes back hundreds of years. Winter can be a very depressing time, as most of you might know, especially back in the time before there was electricity, and they would put evergreens and poinsettias in their house to decorate it. And the reason why, well, that's about the only thing that was growing that time of year. There is no observance of the birth of Christ by Christians in the Scripture. Jews and early Christians didn't really commemorate birthdays, while the observance of holidays is usually left entirely up to the individual. Romans chapter 14 and verse 5 says that one man esteemeth one day above another, and another esteemeth another day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Jesus honored the Hanukkah, even though Hanukkah is never given in the Bible as something to be done. Was Jesus born on December 25th? That's a question we hear a lot. Well, I don't really know. The Bible doesn't give us his birthday. However, it's very unlikely that December 25th was the day of his birth. Why would you say that? Well, in Luke chapter 2 and verse 8, we read, "And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flocks by night." Shepherds in Israel would corral their flocks no later than the end of October. So when did that date come? Where did someone come with that date, December the 25th? Well, the theory is that it came from Constantine, the Roman emperor, who married the church's state in AD 331, effectively creating what we know now as the Roman Catholic Church. In 336, it was decreed that Jesus' birth would be celebrated on December the 25th. There were several things going on during that time of year. First, there was the festival of Saturnalia from December the 17th through the 23rd. And then there was the Sol Invictus, as it's called, the unconquered sun, celebrated in the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. As the time of daylight begins increasing, the sun is said to return to life. Then there was also the Jewish festival of lights, or Hanukkah, as we mentioned earlier. So it is believed that that date was selected to correspond with the other events. However, there may be more to that date. In 221 AD, a man by the name of Sextus Julius Africanus, he's a Christian from Jerusalem. He lived from 160 AD to 240 AD. He wrote a history of the world in 5 volumes, Chronographia. Unfortunately, the work doesn't really exist except in fragments nowadays. But there were extensive quotations by Eusebius and others, and he calculated the period between the creation and the birth of Jesus as 5,500 years. And he had Jesus' birth on December the 25th, and that was before Constantine was ever born. When then was Jesus born? Some have tried to date the birth based on astronomical history, dating by the star the Magi saw. The fatal flaw in that is that the Magi did not come to Jesus on his birth night. We read in Matthew chapter 2 and verse 11, "And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh." Notice Jesus is in a house, and he is a young child and not a baby. And he could have been as old as 2 years old, as Herod tried to kill the male children up to the age of 2. And it's Herod's slaughter of the children that caused Joseph to take Jesus down into Egypt. And he was there until the death of Herod, we're told in the Bible, and Herod died in April 4 BC. So Jesus would have had to have been born before then. But I believe that the Bible gives us some fascinating clues to determine the approximate date of his birth. So tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, we will explore the evidence of the Scripture. So I appreciate it if you give us a like and subscribe to the channel. And any comments or questions you have, put it down there in the bottom. And we'll see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas.